You hardly wake up in the morning and the bed pulls you in. You are in a hurry. You have to get out of the house quickly. All you want is for your opium to explode as soon as possible. Because you have a very important meeting or exam. Just as you are about to enter your workplace or school, a fragrant scent draws you towards it. This is exactly what you are looking for, a cup of coffee. Now, I want to take you on a journey into the unknown of coffee. Coffee derived from Arabic word kaffa, means pleasure drink. There are many rumors and stories about the discovery of coffee. The famous story is the story of Kaldi. While grazing Kaldi goats in southern Ethiopia in the 14th century, he saw the goats eat the red fruits hanging from the tree branches and start to move. Curious, he realized that he gives himself space and energy. So he discovers coffee. The next stop of this story goes to Yemen after Ethiopia. In the 15th century, Christian clergy in Yemen took advantage of the immigration of coffee to read and pray more during the night. This attracts the attention of the traders and then start trading. Coffee was made only in Yemen until the end of the 17th century. Then it begins to be produced in Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Brazil, Jamaica, Cuba, Mexico, and Colombia. Today, coffee is the second item in world trade after oil. Brazil produced almost half of all coffee in the world today. Turkey was introduced to coffee during the reign of Sultan Süleyman. In 1517, he entered the Ottoman lands with the Yemen governor Özdemir Pasha and was included in the palace. It is first served the sultans and guests in the palace. Turkish coffee is the only coffee with a ritual. Coffee is served in the palace under the management of kahvecibaşı. Each person on the team has a separate task for the ritual. It's a ceremony in itself with its coffee, water, styles, cups, and jugs. In those days, coffee was flavored with jam and Turkish delight. First, the mood is cleaned with water, then the coffee is sweetened with sweets and drunk, so that the highest level aromas are taken from the coffee. Turkish coffee is the only coffee that is cooked and drunk with ground coffee. For this, it must be ground very finely so that the grounds settle at the bottom of the cup and do not leave a negative taste in the mouth while drinking. Coffee is Kivahan in Tahtakale, Istanbul, with the title of the first coffee house opened in the world in 1554 after the palace. The effects of coffee on Ottoman Turkish culture continued with the opening of coffee houses. According to the rank and status of the people among the people, subtypes of the coffee houses, such as neighborhood coffee houses, semai coffee houses, tulumbacı coffee houses, artisan coffee houses, and janissary coffee houses began to form. All of them have their own unwritten rituals and rules. Coffee later on is start to be drunk by the people at home. While talking about this much coffee, it is necessary to mention its fortune telling. In the Ottoman palace, fortune telling emerged when the concubines said what they could not say by looking at the coffee cup. Fortune telling, which started with concubines, continues to take place in our cultural structure among the people. Every has an opinion on how fortune telling is viewed. The most well-known phrase used in fortune telling is the phrase "Neyse haliniz, çıksın falınız." In fact, it is possible to say the fortune telling is an excuse and conversation is wonderful. In other words, the effect of coffee on socialization is great. People generally want coffee to accompany them while telling a problem to their friends or in pleasant moments. In this case, the saying "Bir kahvenin 40 yıl hatırı vardır" comes to mind. With the concept of these 40 years, it's a matter of curiosity where the "for the sake" came from. According to legend, a coffee shop from Üsküdar plays the leading role. One day, the Janissaries enter the coffee house and offer coffee to everyone. The Greek ship captain is excluded. The coffee maker doesn't mind this and makes a cup of coffee for the captain. Then they chat with each other. 40 years pass and a rebellion breaks out on Samos Island. With the call for mobilization, he goes to the island as a janissary to suppress this rebellion in the coffee shop. There he is captured and taken to the slave market to be sold. It is sold to a Greek for very good money. After a certain period of time, the Greek Cypriot, "Didn't you recognize me? When everyone was against me, you offered me coffee and chatted 40 years ago. When I saw you, I want to save it for the sake of that coffee and conversation." As can be understood from this story, many stories have been produced for coffee and many meanings have been attributed to coffee. Turkish coffee has accomplished what no other beverage has. It was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2013. The reason is that there is no such cultural accumulation behind any known coffee variety in the world. In conclusion, coffee is a culture that cannot be explained. Coffee has also included words derived from coffee, which are not in any language in the world into our daily lives. While breakfast was forming the name of a meal derived from under coffee, it took its place in our life as the color brown. When the work is done, fatigue coffee and pleasure coffee with happy moments is indispensable for girl request ceremonies. Coffee continues to be an important part of life with its values still kept alive in the footsteps of Ottoman and Turkish culture and its 40 years of memory. Whether we believe it or not, the shapes that are tried to be interpreted in the cups that are turned upside down and closed are always in our lives with the tradition of coffee fortune telling. that has been going on for generations. It's a unique beverage that has been included in UNESCO's Cultural Heritage List and has a unique production technique. How beautifully said Cemal Süreyya. Ortasında yakalamalı bir insan yaşamı. Ömrün ortası, çayın ortası, gecenin ortası, en güzeli de bir çift kahverengi gözün ortası. Zaten en güzeli değil midir? İçilen kahvenin ortası.